Hello, everybody. This is our podcast composite by Geovanna de Santos Medeiros, Júlia Soares dos Santos, Matheus Nascimento de Jesus, Nataly Batista Silva, Renan Teixeira Dias, and Samuel de Sousa Morais. And we will talk about evils caused by the consumption of pornography. We hope you enjoy.
According to studies conducted by the company Quantas Pesquisas and Estudos de Mercado, the request of the cable channel Sex Rot in 2018 in Brazil, there are 22 million people that assume to consume pornography. 76% are men and 24% women. In some moment of life, every person will have contact with pornography in a voluntary way or not. The way to deal with it, however, is what makes the difference in sexual experience. While some people use it as a stimulus to warm up sexual relations and masturbation, others end up feeling crooked concepts about pleasure and performance.
Currently, the access to the virtual world is gaining space in the social environment. With the popularization of new technologies at the beginning of the 90s, many questions have arisen regarding the use of computers and especially the internet. The pornography industry has been gaining a lot of space in influence information. For the World Health Organization, sexuality is a central aspect of the human being, choreography, and includes sex, gender, identities, and roles, sexual orientation, eroticism, pleasure, intimacy, and reproduction. It expresses in thoughts, desires, fantasies, beliefs, and attitudes. Its manifestation appears in early stage of romance development. There are a variety of sites here they meet needs of people, whatever they may be, from arranging open needs from the new genders, new sexual experience, which then generate the most devastating consequence of pornography, the addiction, and the stimulus to the consumption of more exotic sexual practice with domination tendencies.
Moving $97 billion per year. According to the week, the porn industry is far from being a paradise for actresses of the genre. Most women enter the industry without knowing what they will have to submit to. Like most victims of human trafficking for sexual exploitation, they need money and are looking for opportunities. Agents, directors, and producers take advantage of these women, who are almost always very young. They first experience with commercial pornography and often brutal and traumatic. About 94% of acts of aggression happen to actresses while performing, and 70% of STDs that happen in this industry occur on women. The giant Pornhub, one of the most visited sites of its kind, was the great part of the content of the site posted by users. Among the millions of videos are countless containing sexual violence, rape, pedophilia, etc. The company moves around 150 million per day.
The classification of pornography addiction as a pathology is very controversial among psychologists. This only because it does not yet have the diagnostics described in Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. The compensation for porn videos has become one of the greatest problems of the digital age. The University of Cambridge, London, in 2013 study brought alarming results on the issue, and even became the subject of a 2013 Porn on the Brain documentary. The study states that people with pornography addiction show brain activity similar to alcoholics or drugs addicts. Chief scientist Dr. Valeria One of the Department of Psychiatry states, we found a great activity in an area of the brain called the ventral state, which a haired center involved a process reward, motivation, and pleasure. It is important to emphasize that not all those who consume pornography will become addicted. Therefore, factors such as the ease of access to internet, the diversity of options, the impossibility of exhausting the search. 11% of the sites on the internet are focused on pornography. About 76.2 million sites are elements that must be added to harden sites to those who already find strain their relationships with pornography or who already feel the damage of using it. A survey conducted in 2014 by the Cancer Institute in the United States showed that 90% of pornography consumers say they wanted to stop but could not. Despite the small percentage, when the number of people who consume pornography is shown, the number is very high. However, in research made in 2000 by the American researchers L. Domenico, Hamburg, and Al Cooper, 17% of people who access pornography content on the internet have traces of sexual compulsions. There are several studies that point out that the addiction in pornography can trigger memory loss, ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, OCD, obsessive and compulsive disorder, and social phobias. Also, the physical consequences can be of the most varied, from pain and loss of sensitivity in the reproductive organs to sexual dysfunctions proven by various studies. Studies have also verified that men who spend a lot of time consuming pornography on the internet seem to have less gray matter in some parts of the brain, besides suffering from reduced brain activity.
In the social insult, the person with this type of composition tends to move away from this partner and lose sexual interest in him. Still, many times the person can develop a serious social anxiety, damaging the social cohesion with friends, family, and work colleagues. Another consequence pointed out in studies is depression, though, though the low dopamine reception after long periods of the consumption of pornography. The person often finds himself in situations where he does not feel like doing anything, mitigates learning of sex in the case of pre-adolescents and adolescents. Also, according to North American researchers Sam Korn, John Breer, and Lillian Meaches, Roman hold her spots really to pornography content tends to accept some myth of the rape and have sexual fantasies that involve rape. Finally, people who are addicted to pornography often tend to subject themselves to abuse, relationships, or even develop sexual psychopathies.
Thanks to the law of pain at the brain septum being interrupted upper gradually. Often this septum are not cause for conscience, since the person does not see health as an act. Some symptoms of pornography and sex addiction are low satisfaction and high frequency of masturbation, difficult of erection at all people, social action, vertical words, right time, objectification of the abstract sex, difficult of concentration, delight or premature ejaculation, sexual disinteraction for the partner and addiction, lost sexual attractiveness.
Possible treatment. People who have developed an addiction to pornography can seek treatment as can parents and guardians who notice, notice a frequency of access to pornographic sites by the youth. The best way is to seek help from psychologists, sexologists, and support groups in the field of psychology. Be- Behavioral therapy can be a great ally for the treatment of porn addiction. This therapeutic approach finds effective ways with the clients to abandon the addiction. This is done by developing training, social skills, learning and relearning existing new sources of pleasure, creating goals and self-control tactics. In addiction, other types of treatment related to behavioral therapy and that are being indicated for porn addiction are cognitive behavioral therapy and acceptance and commitment therapy. Thank you for listening to us.